And me and my mom fell out badly because I told her, I was like, do you know this psychopath that you're sending us with? Like, you do know that you're never going to see us again, right? He doesn't play fair. He doesn't care about the rules. And she's like, no, he won't do that. And it's court order and you have to go. I was like, all right. Well, it's been nice knowing you. Needless to say, I wasn't all the way correct, but I was correct. He conveniently lost our passports. Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steed, new from the Ville. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the most powerful and gut-wrenching acts of love, sacrifice. Now, we all hope that we would do anything for the people that we love. But what if anything meant giving up the very things that define your life? Your home, your family, your identity, maybe even your very own life. Now I'm taking a media therapy deep dive into Chief of War, Season 1, Episode 2, Changing Tides. This episode isn't just an escape sequence. It's a masterclass in the immense cost of making an impossible choice. Now I'm going to explore how Iana, after having been betrayed and hunted, makes a series of devastating choices to protect his family, pushing himself to the brink, and ultimately losing his home to save them. In a twist of fate, there's also another character that I want us to take a look at who makes a powerful choice of self-sacrifice for the greater good. Now, this episode will challenge your understanding of loyalty and protection and discover what the true cost of sacrifice is when there is no other way. Let me tell you a little story. I know I've talked about this before and I don't like talking about it. When it comes to sacrifice, I can think of a lot of times in my life where I've had to sacrifice, especially for people I love, but I can't think of any sacrifice bigger than the one that my mother made. When my parents got divorced, it was ugly. It was knock down, drag out divorce. My dad was in the military and we were stationed in Germany at the time, and my mom came back to Lexington, Kentucky, and me and my brother came with her. When the divorce was finalized, it was said that we were to spend holidays and summers with him because she had full custody. And the first summer that came up was the summer after my 8th grade year. So I was going on my way to being a freshman in high school. And he said he was coming to get us for the summer. Now, at the time, we lived in Lexington. We'd been here for 2 years. I'd done 7th and 8th grade in Lexington. My dad still lived in Germany. And me and my mom fell out badly because I told her, I was like, do you know this psychopath that you're sending us with? Like, you do know that you're never going to see us again, right? He doesn't play fair. He doesn't care about the rules. And she's like, no, he won't do that. And it's court order and you have to go. I was like, all right. Well, it's been nice knowing you. Needless to say, I wasn't all the way correct, but I was correct. He conveniently lost our passports, and as a way to stick it to her, he said he wasn't sending us back. He was the superior, yes, he used those words. He was the superior parent, and he wasn't sending us back. Now, the thing is, we're in Germany, across the Atlantic Ocean, thousands of miles away. This is not like, being in Cincinnati. It's not driving to Florida, not driving to Texas, not even driving to California. It takes airplanes, planes, trains, and automobiles. We were gone for 2 years. I don't want to get into all the specifics of what happened and what prompted our eventual return, but my mom made a huge sacrifice in honoring the court order, and our relationship severely suffered because of it. I was angry at her for years, partly because I was right. and the trauma, and I can't speak for my brother, but the trauma that I endured, what I went through for 2 years under this man's thumb, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But that's sometimes what you do when you love people. Let's get into it. Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steed, Newfoundlandville, and I'm here to talk about Chief of War, Season 1, Episode 2, Changing Tides. Now, if you've been rocking with me for a while, you know that I'm not trying to do no long recap. I'm going to hit a few points in the episode, and I'm going to give you the welcome and intro. I gave you a little story. I'm going to give you my quotes and some personal thoughts, and then we're out of here. And by all means, if you have not liked the video, make sure that you like this video, comment, make sure that you share this with as many people as you can. And if you haven't subscribed, go and hit that subscription button. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I love my quotes, and I only have one today. And it's from Gordon B. Hinckley, and he says, "You will come to know that what appears today to be a sacrifice will prove instead to be the greatest investment you've ever made." I'm going to call this media therapy deep dive, the sacrifices we make. Now, if we're picking up where the last episode left off, iana and his family, he's on the run. He's got to get away from Kahekili, who has betrayed him, betrayed his trust. You know, sacrificing for love is a journey. It's not a single act. And iana had to think through everything that he did. He had to think very carefully, because what he did can not only take his life, but those of his wife and his wife's sister and his brothers. You know, when sacrifice is rooted in love, it's not a single heroic act, but a relentless journey of loss and self-denial for the sake of others. This show demonstrates that the true burden of sacrifice is carried through a series of devastating choices, each one more demanding than the last, and often resulting in far greater personal loss than you can ever imagine. Now, as we pick up in the episode, they had sailed back to Maui, and now when we pick up in the episode, they had sailed back to Kauai, and they're looking for Kapua's sister, and she was in the valley replanting the flowers and things that she had picked. The problem is that the prince and some of the other people that had found him the first time in Kauai knew that he would never leave without his wife's sister. So even though they weren't far behind, they knew where they were going. So in the very beginning of the episode, iana hears them. He takes out a guy or two, but they're hot on his heels. And he tells his wife and his brothers to not interfere. He's gonna run off and lead them away for them to go find his sister-in-law and then meet him at the predetermined spot for them to leave the island. The thing is, this is a solitary choice, and it's gonna cause him to endure a lonely journey because he had to make a sacrifice to save the people he loved. At the time when they separated, at this point, he has no idea if he'll ever see them again. If he lives through this, because there's a lot of them on his tail. And then a lot of the episode is this pursuit journey across the island. They are barefoot with their cheeks out, running their literal asses off on this island. iana gives everything that he has to buy his family precious time so they can get away. Even if he doesn't go with them, he's trying to buy them enough time for them to be safe. Now, while he's in this chase, one of the pursuers, they throw like a slingshot, hit him in the head, it knocks him out, like a concussion, and he's dazed. He's still on his feet, but he's able to get away, but he's not. If he was at 100% before, he's operating at less than 60. And he runs into another person, a woman, ahumanu. She is a princess, and her father is a chief himself on the island of Hawaii. She is actually the niece of Kahekili, But she wasn't raised in the royal court. She was raised in a cave, she says, because of the shame. Her mother is Kahekili's sister, but when she had birth by this chief from Hawaii, she was shunned. Her father had returned to the island to tell her she is to marry. And she wanted to marry for love and marry for her own reasons, and he told her no. In order to ensure peace between Hawaii and Maui, you have been chosen to marry one of the chiefs there, a chief by the name of Kamehameha. And it was for the greater good, for the duty that she had been chosen for her father, and she had to sacrifice whatever life that she thought that she would have in order for this union to take place. Kayana runs into her. She takes him to the cave and lets him rest and kind of watches over him while he's on the run. They explain to each other who they are, and as they are departing and starting to make their way to find Kayana's family, they run into the pale skins, because earlier when he was sailing home from Maui with his family, they heard a bell in the storm, in the late night weather. It was actually from a ship, and there are several Europeans on the ship, and they made their way to the island. Now, they had run into some of Kahekili's people, and they took down one of the pale skins, one of the European people. Kayana and ahumanu run into them, but he saves their people by killing one of Kahekili's people. He don't want no smoke with them, and he's surprised that the pale skins are back, but he's got bigger fish to fry at the moment. So him and ahumanu, they keep it moving. He gets to a point where he's like, one of the scared white dudes' gun went off, and Kayana knows that that will alert Kahekili's people, and he's like, we're not gonna get there. I've got to do it again. I've got to separate myself to make some room, make some space, so that my family can get away. And ahumanu says, your wife will never leave you. They will wait. And he said, I know. And he takes off his necklace and folds it up and gives it to her and says, give this to her. Take them with you to where you're going, to Hawaii, and I will catch up to you there. And she leaves. And the chase is on again. But this time they corner Kayana on a cliff. They overwhelm him. And just when they're about to make the killing blow, he turns the tables and takes one of them off the cliff with him. He dives off the cliff. Now at this point, from that height, it don't look like nobody survived that. And Kahekili's son says, go find the body. And at the end of the episode, we see Kayana wake up on the same ship that we saw that the Paleskins came on. But they had a brown brother, they had a black man on the ship who comforted Kayana and told him, hey, it's okay. And he ran outside to see them sailing away from Kauai. And he's like, I need to go back there. And they're like, nah, we on our way to Alaska. We got these furs to trade, and we found you in the water. We saved your life. So they gave him his stuff back, but he's made all these sacrifices, and at this point, you never know if he will ever see his family again. The thing about sacrifice is, it isn't a simple choice. It's a series of excruciating losses that defines a hero's path. This is Rakai Steve, new from the Ville. Make sure that you share this with as many people as possible. Like it, go down, hit the like button. Make sure that you comment. Tell me what you thought about this episode. Think about, what did you think about sacrifice itself and there's ever been a time that you've had to make sacrifices that were heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, and at the end of the day, if you haven't subscribed, I get it, but it's not too late. You can subscribe now. So hit the button, subscribe, watch all the videos. You might see something that resonates with you. Because at the end of the day, it's all about this, but it's even better when it's about this.